Hey, what is going on, Guardians? TBL here, coming back at you guys with some more Destiny 2 gameplay on PC. Still having a lot of fun with that. Today, we're going to be talking a bit about the future, the DLC, the content that's going to be coming in about a month to the world of Destiny that was revealed a little bit earlier this week. Now, before we get into things, right off the bat, let me just say that thank you guys so much for the well wishes. I've been a little bit under the weather this week. You'll probably hear a little bit of that in my voice over the course of this video, but I'm going to try to keep the snorting, the coughing, and the wheezing down to a minimum in this so you guys don't have to endure the horrific sounds that have been coming out of my body that I've been listening to for the past couple of days. Ooh, having a stuffed up nose is not fun, baby. But anyways, the Curse of Osiris, we got our first look at the first Destiny 2 expansion. And it's looking pretty good, And we've got a lot of information, a lot of brand new information to cover that is coming straight out of this week's This Week at Bungie blog, which goes in and gives us a lot of things to look forward to. We're going to have our standard release schedule here with Curse of Osiris, complete with live streams from Bungie, hot fixes and quality of life changes that hopefully are going to be added to the base game and not going to just be sold alongside the DLC, and a bunch of other things. But let's just go ahead and dive on in, starting off reading some of that This Week at Bungie from the words of Cosmo himself, straight out of Bungie. First things first, they take some time to talk a bit about the live streams that we're going to be seeing. The first one is going to be called Curse of Osiris Stream 1, New Stories to Tell. This one's going to be happening at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, November 15th, that classic Bungie Wednesday stream date. In that stream, you'll be learning about the places you'll go, the characters you'll meet, and the enemies you'll fight. Basically going to be a ride-along like what they used to do with the Cosmodrome and whatnot in the social spaces. They're probably going to take us around parts of the new social space for Mercury, the Lighthouse. Probably going to take us around parts of the new patrol spaces and whatnot, so we can get our first look at the new world we'll be diving into in Curse of Osiris. After that, Stream 2 is going to be called New Ways to Play. It's going to be happening again at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, November 21st, just a week later. And it says, watch us preview some of the new activities that will challenge you and your fire team. Now, this is actually kind of interesting. What do they mean by new activities? Are they going to be bringing some new game modes or whatnot to Curse of Osiris? I don't know. I'd be willing to bet that they mean watch us do some new strikes or something like that. Bungie has a funny way of titling that kind of stuff, and I would put my money on them saying, on new activities simply meaning, watch us do a new strike, or watch us do a new lost sector or whatnot. If they surprise us with a brand new game mode or something like that, I'll take that too. But anyways, moving on to stream number 3. That's right, we're getting a third one. This one's coming at 11 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday, November 29th. So again, a week later. This one's going to be about the new gear to earn. Now, this is always one of my favorites. With every expansion, whenever they do these live streams, they always have a bit of a fashion show showing off some of the new armor and weapons you'll be getting your hands on. And for Bungie's sake and for ours, I hope they introduce an absolute ton of new weapon sets with the Curse of Osiris. We know that at least right now, there's still something like 300 classified items within the Destiny 2 database. So, I mean, I'm hoping a lot of those are unique weapons so that we can get a little bit more variance in the end game. I've always been one to say, if they're not going to move away from static weapon roles, from weapons having specific roles and just not changing that, and they're not really going to change up the mod system too much, then they need to just absolutely flood the game with drops. There needs to be hundreds upon hundreds of different weapons for you to earn. Give you something to chase there. But on this stream, they're going to be inspecting the new inventories and seeing it all in action on a brand new Crucible map. So we're going to get a little bit of PvP in this one too, which is definitely alright with me. Cosmo finishes up by saying many members of the Bungie development team will be in the hot seats to tell you all about what they've been working on. We hope you'll join us to be a part of the moment and sound off in chat. Which, to be perfectly honest, is something I'm quite sure Cosmo's going to regret saying when these live streams come around. Have you ever been on one of Bungie's live streams when they're showing off an expansion? Have you ever been in that Twitch chat? Whew, it's a little bit of a savage place. But anyway, so there we go. We've got 3 live streams coming. They're going to be showing off a lot more detail when it comes to the Curse of Osiris, and they're starting in a little over a week and a half. I don't know about you guys, but Destiny DLC always gets me excited, and I'm ready for some new content when it comes to Destiny 2. But anyways, let's move on. They talked a bit about some of the upcoming changes for events as well. Of course, we went down for maintenance yesterday, and they pushed in that old patch 1.0.6. It should be titled the one that broke performance, because if you've been playing on PC, you've probably noticed a few weird frame hitching and frame skipping moments. It seems like, I don't know, maybe Bungie forgot to carry the one or something and kind of borked a bit of their performance with that patch, because man, after those servers came back online and we can jump back in, I have been experiencing just weird frame skips. It'll be super weird. I won't drop too many frames, but it'll be like a second or two will pass where I'm just frozen, and then like the game skips ahead, and that definitely wasn't happening before. They took the servers down for maintenance, and people have been reporting this all over the subreddit, all over the Bungie forums. Some people are reporting that it's just killing their frame rate when it happens, and it happens like maybe 2-3 times a minute, where they're dropping from like 60-70 frames per second to like sub 20, and that's a painful experience. Like I said, it doesn't last long. It's like a second, maybe a second and a half of it happening, but man, if you're playing PvP, that's enough to get you killed, and it happened to me in PvP quite a bit. As a matter of fact, you're probably seeing some of it in this video right here. I took this video after the servers came back online yesterday. And if I may say so myself, your boy TBL's not too bad at this whole Destiny 2 PvP thing on PC. But he is when he gets frozen in midair every now and again and just gets scrailed by somebody who isn't being affected by whatever this frame skipping issue is. So, you know, Bungie has mentioned that they noticed the problem. They're working on it to try to figure out what exactly they borked. Hopefully they can get that hotfixed with the quickness, because with Trials going live later today, the last thing you sweaty Trials players need on PC is a full second to a second and a half of you being frozen in place or just like skipping ahead and not being able to do anything. Ooh, not too fun. But anyways, moving on to something a little bit more jovial, they talked a bit about faction rallies and how those are going to be changing in the upcoming, I guess, event is what you would call it. We got to hear from Bungie's own Tim Williams, who had this to say. During the first faction rallies, we had a chance to learn a lot about how the activities motivated gameplay. We looked at the time invested compared to the rewards and made the following adjustments, which by the way just means basically they saw that people were just running in and out of caves on Io and on Titan, going into lost sectors, blowing up boxes, and then just rinse and repeat, and basically said, we don't like that, we're going to change things up so that you actually have to do content. And this is the changes that they've made. For faction rallies, strikes will now reward faction tokens at a range of 5 to 9 faction tokens per completion. This is up from 3 to 7. Nightfall now rewards 10 to 18 faction tokens on first completion per character. First completion, so you can't just spam Nightfalls if we happen to have an easy Nightfall that week. Kinda sucks. I wish they would leave it so that, that harder content, that Nightfall, could just be run over and over again to get the most benefit. I mean, why not? Why not reward players who are taking on the hardest content? I don't know. But anyways, moving on. Completing heroic public events now rewards 5 faction tokens, down from 8. Destroying enemy resources no longer rewards faction tokens, and opening lost sector chests now rewards 3 faction tokens for each fireteam member. Now, there's a lot of interesting things to unpack here, but I'm going to try to go through it very quickly. This is obviously in response to people just farming lost sectors last time Faction Rally was live. There are people who were just, if you didn't know, last time during the Faction Rally, you didn't even have to complete a lost sector. They put enemy resources inside those caves. You just go in, you blow up like the first 5 you see on a specific cave on Io or on Titan. You get like 5 to 6 coins, you leave that lost sector, you wait like half a second, turn right around, walk right back in, and it would respawn all of those enemy resources, so you could just keep farming that over and over again. And because that was so much faster, nobody was really running strikes, and public events, which were good, gave you up to like 8 for completing heroic public events, I think. But this was just faster, so people were just spamming that. And I find it really interesting that Bungie went out of their way to say, if you remember like a month or so ago after the first faction rally, they said, we don't want to nerf any sources for faction tokens. We just want to raise up some of these other sources and make them good enough to match the sources that people are already going after. And then explicitly in these patch notes stating that they're nerfing public events, that you can't just farm those. You can only get 5 faction tokens now rather than 8. And of course, they're going to be changing it so that enemy resources no longer reward faction tokens. And you know, those are two pretty direct nerfs to the faction, the way of grinding and faction rally as a whole. So I just thought it was kind of funny. Hopefully, you know, the memory hole hasn't happened here, and people remember that Bungie said they didn't want to nerf any sources, and here we are. But I am glad to see that they're trying to make strikes more rewarding. Bumping up those rewards from 5 to 9 is good, because before getting like 3 to 7 for running an entire like 15-minute strike, absolutely not worth it. I mean, that's pretty indicative of the strike playlist as a whole right now, just not worth playing. And I'm glad to see this change coming to factions, to faction rally rather. I think hopefully it's going to make getting into a fire team and running that faction rally, running those strikes, a bit more entertaining this time around. And, hold it, excuse me, gotta blow my nose, give me a second. Alright, I'm back, you didn't hear that, right? But anyways, they finalized things by saying, strikes should feel more worthy of the time you invest in them. We noticed that players felt lost sectors were useful, but disliked the fact that they couldn't enjoy them with a fire team. So we moved the faction tokens from the destructible items to the chest at the end of the activity. The destructibles will still be featured as a daily milestone and are still available to help your fire team clear out the lost sector. We're all excited to see which faction the players will help to win this faction rally. We'll be watching and looking to improve the faction rally over time, so please keep the feedback coming. And well, Bungie, I guess my only feedback is that, man, you guys saw the way things were working, said, we're not going to nerf anything, and then just decided, well, I guess we kind of have to nerf some things. Well, at least you're bringing us some brand new weapons, because after that we get a look at some brand new Monarchy, Dead Orbit, and future War Cult weapons, and they're looking pretty good. On that new weapon list, we're getting ourselves a new Monarchy sword, a future War Cult fusion rifle, and a Dead Orbit single-shot grenade launcher. Ooh, it had better have like crazy abilities like a huge blast radius and proximity detonation, or else Dead Orbit had better not win this time around. I mean, you already gave us a garbage scout rifle, people. I don't need a garbage grenade launcher too. Ugh. But alright Guardians, that is pretty much it for the wrap up of the This Week at Bungie for the week of November 2nd, 2017. We got our first look at some Osiris stuff. We're going to be hearing about it in a little over a week and a half. We've got some live streams, we've got some faction rallies, we've got a lot of good stuff to look forward to, and I cannot wait to jump into it. But anyways, I'm getting out of here for now. I gotta go clear out this built-up mucus and phlegm in my body, and I'm sure you're loving the mental image of that. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to let me know what you guys think of all this stuff down in the comment section below. Are you excited for some of this upcoming stuff? Be sure to let me know, baby. But alright, I'm gone for now. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.